What's up guys, it's me and boy SteveRandom here, and in today's video I'm doing fragrances that got my attention from the first sniff, or that I really liked from the first sniff. I basically mean that when I sprayed this cologne on for the first time, I really loved it. Obviously these colognes that are going to be shown in this video are mostly going to be colognes I still love, because I loved them at first sniff. I still love them, you know, that just makes sense. So most of these might be repetitive fragrance, but I'll explain my experience when I first smelled them and why did I like them so much. So I think it might be cool, but if you guys feel it's repetitive, then I don't know. But basically these fragrances have really just, they got me from the first time. So let's start off with number one. Number one, Dolce Gabbana The One Eau de Parfum. Smelling this from the first time, I did blind buy this because I saw a lot of YouTubers were like, yeah, it is the best fragrance for the winter, for the fall. It really is like a man's fragrance to have, you know, you want to have this in your collection. And I was really skeptical because I was like, this was one of my first blind buys, so I was like, what, should I get it, man? I don't know. But when I got it, you know, I was having some high expectations when I got it. So I really at first hand I sprayed it in the air like this, and then wow, oh my goodness, this smells great. And then I got a test strip, and I sprayed on the test strip, and I was like smelling it all day, and I was like, wow, this smells really good. But then, you know, after a few days I realized it doesn't last as long as I expected it to, but it still really does smell good. And basically I just reenacted my first ever time smelling this. Dolce Gabbana The One has like, or still does sometimes shock me whenever I use it. It just smells really good, smells really sexy, and it really smells like how other people describe it as, you know, it's a man's fragrance that's a little bit sweet. So it's like, if you're a person that's a little bit sweet but you're still kind of a man, you're still a man but you're sweet, then this is pretty much a fragrance for you, because the amber in here makes it really smell kind of different and a little bit, you know, sexy, unique. I would say use it it's best used for the fall and winter, I think. Sometimes maybe the spring, but what I realized with this one, it does really become a skin scent after a while. So after a few hours it becomes a skin scent, which I don't really like, but whatever. If it smells good, it's good. I truly enjoy it myself, even though sometimes it doesn't get me compliments. I still enjoy it myself. So that was Dolce Gabbana The One Eau de Parfum. I'm excited to try the Eau de Parfum of this fragrance. This is Dior Sauvage. I can't say much about it. This is the Dior Sauvage Eau de Toilette version, and I have ordered the Eau de Parfum, which it should be coming soon. But the Eau de Toilette version, man, the first time I smelled this was at a department store, you know, fragrance. I think it was at Macy's or something. I went and I saw this advertisement for Dior Sauvage, and I was like, Dior have a new fragrance? And this was like back in 2016, so I wasn't really experienced with fragrances as much. I smelt it, I was like, at first sniff, I smelt it, and I was like, this smells good. It smells decent, right? It smells decent. After like a second spray, I don't know what happened, but it just hit me with like the citrus, ambroxan, fresh, with a little bit of pepper, all three at one time. And I was like really shocked. I was like, what? Wow, this smells really good. The salesman was like, so you really like it, huh? And I was like, yeah, I do really like it. Yeah, it's a very popular fragrance. And in my head I was like, what? I don't know about this fragrance. But at the time, you know, I wasn't experienced with fragrances or whatever. I didn't even know any fragrance idea. I only had like 4 or 5 fragrances, which is good. I mean, I did have a pretty good amount of fragrances for somebody that doesn't know anything about fragrances. I had no information about what the heck Dior Sauvage was. So when I first smelt it, I was keen on buying it from the store. But I did hear, you know, about Notino and FragranceNet.com at that time. So I did later on purchase it from, you know, Notino. But Dior Sauvage, whew, man, basically that was my first experience with it. And yeah, that's Dior Sauvage. Really love the fragrance. My third one, Abercrombie & Fitch First Instinct. Now, I do have to say, I got this, I saw this off Jeremy Fragrance's channel. Jeremy described it as being like a very tropical melon scent, and it was a little bit unique, very different, and I was like, that looks pretty good. And this was like about like a year, I think ago, a year and a half ago. So I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Shall I get this? And you know how Jeremy is, like how he kind of persuades you through the screen. about how to get the fragrance, and I was really persuaded, and I got it, and I was like, will this melon note smell good? Will it smell bad? I don't know, but if Jeremy likes it, I might like it, because I think me and Jeremy have the same kind of taste. When I first sprayed it on, I literally, like, I think I smelled the melon so clear that I was like, wow, I'm at a tropical island right now. I sprayed it on like this, on a test strip. Let's pretend this is a test strip. I did a little bit of this, and I was like, wow, that's like a freaking tropical island. And I felt like I was on vacation just then with that instant like 3 seconds. That's why I loved it at first sniff, and I got shocked at first sniff. Abercrombie & Fitch First Instinct was really one that shocked me from first sniff, even though now I realize it doesn't last as long. It's kind of a poor kind of longevity. It has poor longevity, but it really smells tropical. Really, if you want a unique fragrance that you would kind of enjoy, or you'd think you would enjoy, then maybe this one might be your fragrance. The performance has really kind of brought it down in my list, but overall I do like the smell of it. I do like smelling it sometimes rather than depending on it to get me compliments. I do like the smell more than that. So Abercrombie & Fitch First Instinct is my third fragrance that shocked me. And moving on to my number 4. I just realized I have 6 total fragrances. So moving on to my number 4, this one is Mancera Cedrat Boise. When I first, I got a sample, I wasn't gonna blind buy this one. Before I had, Club de Nuit Intense Man, before I had other clones of Creed Aventus. I forgot who it was, but a reviewer that talked about Mancera Cedrat Boise, and they really explained it really clear. And they were like saying that it smells like Aventus for the first 10 seconds, and then it goes into another very different fragrance. It goes into a different path. So he kind of described it as, this is Aventus, this is Mancera Cedrat Boise. First spray, and then they go apart. They keep going apart. And basically with that idea, that made me get a sample from Mancera Cedrat Boise. I had a sample of Creed Aventus at the time, I forgot to mention. I had a sample of Creed Aventus, and when I sprayed Creed Aventus on, I was like, okay, fruity, nice, very nice at first. And then I wasn't really, that wasn't my first reaction. So then when I sprayed Mancera Cedrat Boise on, I was like, wow, this is even more fruitier. And then, as the reviewer said, and it did really turn it into a different fragrance. It was way different. So I do agree with that point that for the first like 1 second, 2 second, 3 second you spray this on, the Creed Aventus opening really smells like, but then it goes into a way different fragrance. I really like this at first sniff because it really smelled like Creed Aventus, and it really shocked me. And then it also shocked me how it changed and transitioned into a different fragrance, which is pretty cool. I mean, I don't know how they did that, but I respect them for that. Mancera Cedrat Boise is my 4th fragrance. Ironically, we're talking about Creed Aventus, and my number 5 fragrance is Creed Aventus. And if you guys weren't expecting this to be on this list, then I don't know what you're expecting to be on this list. I think everybody really, at first sniff, because of the hype, because of everything on this fragrance, at first sniff they were expecting it to be very high expectations, right? And they would be disappointed if it wasn't high expectations, and I was the same. When I got a sample of Creed Aventus, I was like, this better be good, because all this hype, all this wait for this one sample, it better smell good. So when I sprayed it at first, I was like, what is all this hype about? It just smells fruity, it smells a little bit, I don't know, woodish, a little bit of musk in the opening, and it wasn't that impressive. It was like, what is all this hype about? And then an hour later, I smell my arm again just to see what the hype was all about. And that dry down comes in, and wow, that dry down made me turn my head 180 degrees. This really smelled good. I really saw what the hype was all about. And at that moment, I was like, Creed Aventus was down here. I don't know if you can see this. It was down here, and I moved up, boom, to the top of the list. Just insane. I don't know how I switched off that quick. I was just like, wow, this is the best fragrance now. So that's Creed Aventus. Really, really unexpected how it just transitioned onto the best fragrance ever. But yeah, you guys know the deal. Creed Aventus, I'm sure all of you have smelled. If you think it's overhyped, I think it is overhyped too. but I still really love it. So Creative Aventus is my 5th fragrance. Yeah, it's my 5th fragrance. And moving on to my last fragrance, shocked me at first sniff and made me really love it at first sniff, but then disappointed me after a little bit. So the reason why, if you guys know this, basically when I did this vlog, you know, during end of December, I went to Las Vegas, went to Los Angeles, went to San Diego. At that trip I tried a bunch of fragrances, unbelievable amount. What I realized with trying a lot of these was some were very like similar niches. They're all niches. Some niches were very similar, but they had a little bit more density. Some had more like basically regular stuff. But when I came to this fragrance right here, I had high expectations because I've been waiting to try this ever since I saw it. I've been waiting to try it, and I found it, and I was like, okay, come on, this better be good, please. It's Parfums de Marly Layton. I just have a sample from my trip, but Parfums de Marly Layton really smells good in the beginning. That apple, cinnamon, I think, and you know, basically citrusy spiciness. Really smells good, right? So at first I was like this, I sprayed it on. Wow, that smells a mix of like feminine stuff and a mix of spicy stuff, and then it becomes this scent that's pretty nice, and I didn't know what that was. I was just like, yeah, it smells really good. There's an ice cream truck really driving by right now. I should really get some ice cream, to be honest. But anyway, Layton was really a boom at first sniff, but then I don't really like lavender. I do not like lavender. Don't like the lavender smell, and guess what? During the mid of the fragrance, lavender just comes out, and I'm like, is that Layton? Yep, it is Layton. And I was like, man, god dang it. It was a really good smell at first, but then it went down to a lavender smell, which I don't like, and it put it down in my list. But it's not like it was like this high up in my list and then it dropped down like this. It didn't go like that because of lavender. I can deal with the lavender, but it's not my favorite fragrance, and it wasn't my one to buy. I like how it smells, but I can't say I would love the way it smells because the lavender kind of ruins it for me. But that was Parfums de Marly Layton. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you guys did, click the like button below, subscribe for more videos, share this video with your friends. If you guys enjoyed this, click the like. Did I already say that? Yeah. Peace.